What is going on, YouTubers, gamers, and fellow hobbyists out there? Welcome to another tutorial. Now we're concentrating on Resident Evil 2, the board game again. Really enjoying that so far, and I really cannot go any further with a playthrough until I've painted up some of the miniatures, because I will not sit down and play with unpainted miniatures, as a lot of people know. Anyways, I've decided to concentrate on one of the the survivors, or not even a main character. This is well, not for Resident Evil 2. This is Sherry Birkin, and she was a freebie with the game as it happened. Now, I always thought she was quite a rare character to get hold of in terms of this particular board game. But anyway, she's just a child. So she kind of wears these shorts, which are way overdone on the turn-ups there, I think. But hey ho, we'll work around that. She has like a white shirt, and I'm going to give her a blue waistcoat because the detail on the miniature can be hard to see sometimes. But anyway, going to concentrate on her skin first, as I often do. I'm going in with Gilliman Flesh contrast because it's a fairly neutral colour in terms of Caucasian skin tone. It's fairly neutral. It's great for all my Space Marines and things of that nature. Saying that, I don't think I've actually even done a Space Marine with it. I did the heads when they first came out a couple of years back. The testing of it. Anyway, I'm going to use my Army Painter character brush. I'm going to take the paint directly from the bottle, and I'm just going to start putting it on her skin here. Right, just put a little big blob of this on there. That's going on really dark, but it will dry a lot lighter, I know, so I'm not too fussed about that. Is this going to be a video where I do it all in real time? I did one in real time, and the next one not so much so. I don't think I'm going with real time with this. It's difficult to do in front of a camera anyways, but just to give you the idea here. Now, a lot of these poses can be deceiving, actually. Deceiving into making you think they're easy access. So there you go. We've got a lot of build up on the underside there. So I'm just going to apply it to the other leg. I'm making the most of contrast paints on these figures because they're smaller, they're not as defined as your CMON miniatures, certainly not your Games Workshop miniatures, but yeah, so, and as she's pretty small, I'm not going to bother going in with highlights. So this is really, quick, easy tutorials to get you up and running with the game as quickly as possible. If you're like me and you like painted miniatures on the table, I mean, we all like painted miniatures, but if you absolutely will not play the game until they're painted, then you want to get them done as quickly as possible. You're not out to win any awards, you just want to get paint on them and playing. Now, if this Sherry Birkin is anything like the Sherry Birkin in the actual video game, which doesn't do an awful lot. I mean, she's handy, yeah, sure, but she's not like a fighter or anything like that. As I recall, in the video game, she's the only one small enough to get into certain access vents and tunnels and things like that, so she does that. So I'm just finishing off the hand. I'll do her face and then we'll come back and do the next step. Right, or shall I just do the face now? Just do the face now, because it's not a... No, I'm not going to be bothering with things like eyes. Not on a model like this. She's a board game piece. I generally tend not to go over the top on board game miniatures. I just like them looking half decent. I'm probably going to colour her hair black, so not too worried about that. Skin, yes. Okay, we'll wait for that to dry. Okay, now that's dry-ish. I have decided to come in and do some white, so I'm going to use, now this is for her socks and her top there, because I want my shoes to be black. Now I'm coming in with ceramite white from Citadel. Now that can be kind of chalky if you're not careful, so I've put 1 drop of airbrush thinner in there, and also some water to thin it out even further. Now I've got way more white than I will ever need, but I'm coming in to do the white of the socks. Very tricky on a model so light to actually see. It doesn't matter if I go over the shoes, I'm going over them with black later. Turn the model as you need to. It's not until you do these sort of tutorial videos that you actually appreciate how difficult it is to paint with the camera in the way. And yeah, I'm at an angle I wouldn't ordinarily be. I've done one sort of, and then up here, so I've done one sock, and up here her shirt, which is also white, just up until her shoulder here, which is where the waistcoat thing kind of takes over. Just getting in the crease of the arm here. I know you can't see that, but making sure the cuffs are all done as well. This will look more complete when it has the blue to complement it, which is what I'm going to put with it for her. I'm thinking of doing 2 different colour blues for her shorts and a jacket though. I'm not entirely sure yet, but anyway, so that's like get the socks and the shirt done. I'll go ahead and finish the other side, and then we'll come back once it's dry. So I've just realised at this point that I can't really do the shoes black because the base itself will be black, and that will be a bit silly. So I'm going to come in with some Nighthaunt Gloom, the technical paint from the Citadel, which I actually bought for my Age of Sigmar ghouls and whatnot. I just want to try it out. It's a small area. We'll try it out on her shoes to see, because if it doesn't turn out well, then I'll just paint over them. So I'm just going to go straight from the pot onto the shoes and see what happens. I think these technical paints, they were the forerunner for the contrast paints. You know, I think they were. The contrast paints are obviously on the table, on the drawing table, on the drawing board, as it were. And these were kind of a trial to see how they would come out, and I think possibly to see how people would make use of them. Well, yeah, I'm okay with that as it is. Really don't need much of this though. It does a similar effect to the contrast paints in that it allows the lighter highlights to kind of come through, as it were. Gonna do that, that's gonna be good. So yeah, fairly successful test then. Testing on a tutorial. Anyway, there it is. So I will wait for that to dry and then we'll come on to the next stage. I want to concentrate on her shorts next, and for this I'm going with the Ultramarine Blue contrast paint. I'm just shaking it up right now. I'm not going to thin this down with some contrast medium. I am going to take this straight from the pot. I don't really know how dark this will come out. I'm not worried though, because it's just her shorts at the end of the day, and early signs here are looking like it's going to be just fine and dandy as is. So I'm just ever so carefully going over it. I want to get as much done with contrast as I possibly can, and so that means I've got to be pretty careful with it. I don't want to have to revert to a conventional paint where I could be using a contrast if I don't have to. I mean, I will, it's no big deal, but just trying to keep things as easy as I can, because I don't really need, for the purpose of board game pieces anyway, at least I don't have to go in and highlight them. Let's grab a little bit more paint. It's kind of a mishmash of doing the whole thing and not really, isn't it, this? But you get the idea. So this is what I'm using on her shorts, Ultramarine Blue, and it for the most part it seems to be coming out all right. I'm pretty impressed with it. Just trying to get these turnips. That's what they look like. Turnips, they look like huge giant turnips. Not turnips, turnips. Oh, almost there. Right. I think that's about it. Okay. There we are. So wait for that to dry, decide where I'm going next. Okay, now for her over jacket here, I was going to come in with some wasted jeans, army painter, zombicide paint, but I've decided because I was going to come in with that and I was going to heavily thin it down really and turn it into a contrast paint, but I've decided to, because it looks, when I do that in colour, very similar to the Nighthawk Gloom that I used on her shoes. So I'm just simply going to go with that, and then I'm going to do the collars a darker blue later on, maybe like a McCraig blue or something like that. That's my plan. So I am going in with the Nighthawk Gloom on her jacket here, because it does, for all intents and purposes, a very similar job. It's not going to be the most detailed of paint jobs, but remember here we're just trying to get our gaming pieces gaming ready, and I wanted to do the black next on the base and the hair, but I felt that I would possibly get some of this on the hair as I'm doing it, which really doesn't matter, because black is black and it'll go over anything. So that's why I'm going to do that later, as it were. I'll try and do the collars in a different shade of blue. Not promising though, it's certainly not easy to differentiate between areas on a model when they're A, this small, and B, not as detailed as you would like, or not as obviously detailed as you would like, I'll put it that way. Yeah, so I will be doing her hair black, so that will take care of any errors I make. And of course I will have to wait for this colour to dry. Just under the sleeve a minute. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm done there with that one. Yeah, so I'm pleased with how that's come out. So, alright, wait for that to dry. Right, it's time for some black, and I'm going with Citadel Abaddon black. Not straight from the pot, but thinned down. And this is because we're not just doing the base here, we are. So I'm going to be coming in, doing the base obviously. Yeah, but it's such a small base anyway. So I'll be painting the base, making sure to get around the shoes just like so, and it'll probably take a couple of coats because it is thinned down. Then I'm also going to be doing her hair. Come over here a bit. I think she's got some sort of hairband on, actually. So I have to pop that in. If I just do all the hair area black for now, I could do it as like a pink or red headband or something like that. Would be kind of neat. Feels a little more complete once the top and bottom of a miniature is done. So yeah, don't sweat it too much. You don't have to be pixel perfect on these. And there, yeah, so once the base and hair is done, and we'll come back when that's done. Okay, so base and hair all done. Now I am going to do the headband in my army painter War Paints Demonic Yellow. It doesn't cover that well, and considering I'm going over black, it's a bit of an odd choice, I guess. But for me, I don't want it to be completely stark, but just enough to show a difference. That there's something on her head. And initially I thought I won't do it. It's just a board game piece. But you know, it'll help me spot on the tabletop, on the board, on the playing board itself. Whether I do another coat of this, that's another matter. So you may just go in and tidy up a bit of Adam Black after, so I'm just going to go over this a couple times basically. No, I'm not worrying about the going over the rest of it here. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. That is what I'm going to do. So yes, I've gone over the hair somewhat, but I will tidy that up with a Adam Black. I'll come back when that's all done. Okay, now that's all done, all taken care of. I am coming in with some blue for the jacket, the Crag blue. See that there? Just watered down with ordinary water. Now, where I'm going with these, I'm coming in on top here. I am doing this sort of, not collar exactly, but it kind of looks a bit like a collar, I suppose. I don't know what you call it. It just goes all the way around the top, and I'm going to be I'm going to be using that for the blue, and this will help to break up the model. Give it a little more interest, as it were. Well, these I'll call them collars because they're kind of like collars. That's what I'm going to call them. Come around. Not the easiest to differentiate. And I'm going to. I'm not sure what this is on the back here, but I am going to colour it in because it's there, and because it, whatever it represents, it'll help cause some interest for the eye. There we go. I realise I've got to come in on the sleeve a bit there and fix that where I went over with the blue. I'll do that and then we'll come back. And there we are, all done. Now to me that's more than adequate for a board game of the nature and scale of Resident Evil. That will do. That is my Sherry Birkin. Thanks for watching. Remember, all brushes lead to war, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now, folks. Bye bye.